Welcome to RMTC-D.H.H series on the high leverage practices for students with disabilities. In this video, we will be discussing the 20th high leverage practice from the CEC and CEEDAR Center's publication, High Leverage Practices in Special Education. This video was made in collaboration with the Problem Solving Response to Intervention PSRTI project and the Access project. HLP 20 states, use intensive instruction. But what does intensive instruction look like? The HLPs define intensive instruction as working with students with similar needs on specific skills, using systematic, explicit, and well-paced instruction, frequently monitoring progress and adjusting instruction accordingly, and providing corrective feedback. This level of instruction is often referred to as Tier 3 intervention. Did some of that description sound like other HLPs? They should. This HLP relates to HLP 17, 16, 6, and 8 and 22. What does the research say about the use of intensive instruction? Each of the components of intensive instruction fall on Hattie's barometer of influence. Grouping by similar needs through differentiation falling at 0.5, explicit instruction at 0.63, monitoring progress through response to intervention at 0.76, and corrective feedback at 0.89. As seen in HLP 17 on flexible grouping, homogeneous groups, or same ability, are used to provide focused, intensive instruction for students with common instructional strengths and needs and are configured to meet short-term goals and objectives. How do you know what tier a student needs for intervention? As seen in HLP 16 on explicit instruction, and thinking of intensive instruction through the multi-tiered system of supports MTSS framework, Tier 1 includes the instruction that is provided to all students. This may be where the students need less support. Tier 2 is provided to students not meeting expectation and is often delivered to small groups of students. This is where students may need a little more support and explicit instruction and may need more opportunities for practice with error correction and feedback. Tier 3 is more intensive intervention and is intended for students experiencing significant barriers to learning. This is where a student may need the most systematic, explicit, and intensive instruction with more extensive opportunities for practice with error correction and feedback. Keep in mind that students may need varying levels of support at different times. Educators should determine how and when to intensify instruction through the lens of the problem-solving process within MTSS. Step 1. Problem identification. What do we want students to know and be able to do? Step 2. Problem analysis. Why is the problem occurring? Step 3. Instruction or intervention design. What are we going to do about it? Step 4. Response to intervention. Is it working? Do you want more on the problem-solving process? Be sure to watch the HLP 16 video and visit the PSRTI website. What does intensive instruction have to do with students who are deaf or hard of hearing? DHH. Students who are DHH are sometimes described as having Swiss cheese knowledge. They sometimes have holes in their knowledge due to language barriers and lack of background knowledge to tap into when learning new concepts. Each student who is deaf or hard of hearing is unique. Due to this, intensive Tier 3 instruction may be necessary for students who are DHH in order to fill the achievement gap. The U.S. Department of Education provided guidance on deaf education services and stated, the disability of deafness often results in significant and unique educational needs for the individual child. The major barriers to learning associated with deafness relate to language and communication, which in turn profoundly affect most aspects of the educational process. Language impacts everything: cognition, literacy, academic achievement, families and family life, socialization, executive functioning, communication, and neurological development. Without language, the brain cannot grow. Due to the highly specialized needs of students who are DHH, it is imperative to address the importance of the use of qualified providers such as teachers of the deaf and hard of hearing, or TODHHs. TODHHs know that hearing status impacts language acquisition and has the potential to create barriers. They've been prepared to meet the unique individual needs of and provide specialized instruction for students with varying hearing levels. This could be by using the expanded skills standards and evidence-based literacy interventions specifically designed for students who are DHH. But what about students who are deaf plus additional disabilities and may be on alternate academic achievement standards? In Florida, we know these as access points. How do we provide these students with intensive instruction? Essential understandings, or EUs, can be used as scaffolds to disaggregate access points to help teachers provide intensive instruction. For example, a grade level standard for kindergarten reading states, identify the topic and multiple details in the text. The access point standard states, identify the topic and select a detail in the text. The EUs state, define topic, define detail. EUs are prerequisite skills and knowledge leading to mastery of the access point. EUs provide a variety of entry points where a student may begin to interact with grade level content. They can be used to intensify instruction for students on access points to complete tasks. In order to complete tasks, a hierarchy of prompts can be explicitly used on each step of the task until the student makes the targeted response. An example of a hierarchy of prompts from least to most is as follows: natural cue, gesture, verbal or signed, visual, model, and physical. Always use the least intrusive prompt first and progress to more intrusive prompts until the learner responds correctly. An example of this hierarchy in action is as follows, always starting with the least intrusive prompt first. Natural cue. Ask a question. What is the topic of the text? Gesture. Gesture to the answer. Verbal or signed. Prompt 1. Reread 3 sentences containing the answer. Verbal or signed prompt 2, reread sentence containing the answer. Visual or model, reread the answer and point to it in the text. And physical, hand under hand assistance to point to answer on response board and state the answer. Remember, if an intervention is not working, then the team should come back to the problem-solving process and adjust their instruction accordingly. We will leave you with this point to ponder. What are ways to intensify instruction if you are an itinerant teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, an SLP, a program coordinator? Come to the TA Live discussion to learn how your colleagues address this question, and share your thoughts to collaborate together. Remember to check out additional resources in the Live Binder. You can access the Live Binder on the RMTC-DHH TA Live website, or by going to the bit.ly/RMTC-HLP. Can't make it to the discussion session? Or perhaps you're watching a recording of this at a later time. An idea to still work within your district is to visit the Iris Center HLP Interactive Alignment Tool. This tool identifies which Iris resource provides information on each specific HLP. Where can you find information on the Iris Center? If you guessed the Live Binder, you are right. Remember, you can find that at bit.ly/RMTC-HLP. To watch more videos about the HLPs, make sure you check out the TA Live archive in our video library. Until next time, we'll see you around. This video was created by the Resource Materials and Technology Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, RMTC-DHH, a special project funded by the State of Florida Department of Education, Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Services, and through federal assistance under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, Part B and IDA Part B trust funds, and through an agreement with the Florida School for the Deaf and the Blind. The information included does not reflect any specific endorsement by any parties involved.